Hello and welcome. Right, well, I've taken on 3 contracts, 3 fertilising contracts, and they are all at the top. Just tried to send the worker up there, but they're doing that. They can't. I think it's the railway lines. This is a bit of a throwback. I remember it every time you tried to cross the lines. Although I don't know, I can't remember them. It may be something else as well, but it could be when the train's on the actual map that it does do this, or a certain sort of set of things. So we're going to try something. So I'm just going to get some fertiliser. I've got plenty of lime on the back, and there's no lime contracts. I'm not sure if I've unticked it or whether, no, I've not uninstalled it. Right, let's grab. I'm loving these big bags that we found as well. They are amazing value. No, let's stick with the one we know. This is the only one that I've seen that actually is super duper value, really. I'll take 4, I think. Right, okay, I'm going to stick those on the back. What is the point? Yeah, this is mine. Now, I think we can take 2 at a time. Now then, can we get them all on? Or do we need more than 3 tons? It depends on what we've got in the fertiliser spreader. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for a few minutes. I'm going to gather everything together, and I'm going to literally start the cameras again when we're up at the top doing the fields. Also, the other thing is I'm going to let the workers do most of that. We've got all that silage to move out of the silo where we stored it. So yeah, that I am looking forward to. I'm also going to see if this does. No, this doesn't pick up these bags, does it? Oh no, it does sometimes, and other times it doesn't. Yeah, no, these ones are different. That's right. It does pick up a normal bag. I've also got that mod set big bags as default. 2 will do. Yeah, although I'm not sure I'm going to manage to do that now, am I? Yeah, isolation. Yeah, I've been away for a few days. I've not uploaded the whole series of this yet. I think I'm on number 14. I think I've recorded up to 16, 17. Right, let's see if we can do what I was on about, where you lean on something and pull it up. No, it goes through the body. Yeah, that's not going to work. It's a shame, because you can do it if you can push against something solid. The game physics do actually allow you to. Yeah, that's better. And we can go through the straps. That's one is good thing. Yeah, I've had a really good go of the Platinum expansion. I had a fantastic go of the. I'm not going to go into too much detail. It is there for you to see. I think it's a step in the right direction. Although I think it's more aimed at new players to try to get you interested, because as an old player of I must admit, I love forestry, and I know that might seem rather strange because I never do it, but I think that's probably why. I will explain. Oh, that's moving off already. Gordon Bennett, really are. Yeah, very strange, these bags. I think this is going to be an update at some point, because this is going to be somewhat they were moving. I just hope that we can get them strapped on long enough. Let's try and stick it on the. I've never tried to do that. Whoa, they're alive. More so than bales. We've been talking to the bales. Yeah, it may seem a strange thing to say because I never do forestry, but the reason I don't do forestry is because the game isn't ready for it yet, and neither is it now. It really isn't. I mean, we often go on about realism and a content creator, obviously, because we're trying, well, some of us are, and most of us realise that actually you'll never make this game. Yeah, ooh, I must have still got that. Yeah, it must be on the truck still. Yeah, you're trying your best, because the game is fantastic. It really is. There's no denying that. Giants have done very well. It is a fantastic, when you consider the rules of physics and the real universe and the depths. I love the physics of the game, and they've gone a long way. And it's a very difficult thing to do. It truly is. So I do think it's. But yeah, the real issues have not been addressed. I mean, yeah. And I will explain. I'm going to go into detail. I'm not going to waffle on without giving any substance, because anybody can. Yeah, I'm not a massive. I'm not. No, and like I say, I've started off by giving Giants, approval and saying how well they've done, because I do think they have in a lot of ways. Right, I can only pick one. So isolate, pull backwards. Yeah, and now the big bag handler, that's been improved in all its iterations. The physics are the same, whether it's the big bag winch, the big bag handler, anything with straps. It adds another element to it, but obviously even that's not perfect because you cannot, yeah, as we've just shown, you can't actually isolate and you can't stick this, it can't differentiate between. Now it did used to, it never used to affect vehicles. Now that's something that Giants have obviously put in as new. Can I put that other one in? I'm not sure I can. Misses the strap. So we're going to have to rely on, yeah, the actual locking script itself. Now there's obviously a lot of behind the scenes, yeah, behind the scenes things that happen with the physics of the game. Yeah, I mean obviously the one thing Giants have done, of the entire pack, there's only one thing that I think is, and no, actually no. On the forestry side, let's go the stone breaking thing. That is amazing. I absolutely think that is a fantastic. I couldn't find any flaws at all in that, and I was not looking for flaws. That sounds like, you know, I'm as if I'm looking for flaws. I'm not. The game has got flaws, gaping holes in it, and that's fairly obvious from anyone playing it. And obviously, Giants are trying. Now, there's enough in the game that it's, oh wow, that's alive. Yeah. That's why I try to stick to the farming. The farming's better. There are still weird mods, sort of. That actually sensed. Oh no, it sensed the other bag. Let me just try and strap this quickly before it decides to fall off. If I can. Right, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Right. Yeah, let me try and stay on track because I'm going to tell what it is that's bizarre. Right, let me just, yeah. The pathfinding seems to work better when they're on the road. Whoa, conflicts. Yeah, that's because that's so high. Yeah, the elephant in the room. The game isn't perfect. Of course it isn't. Whoa. That locking script didn't work at all with that. Right, okay, I'll grab that off the road in a second. Let's see if we can take this up to the top with the actual pathfinding, or whether the train being on is a thing. Because it is on the road. I always find that on the road is best. Right, okay, this is a perfect. Right, let's go on. Right, now then, the train line crosses on that side of the map. Now, I don't think I've ever had any problems with coming up this side of the map, so let's try that while that's on the. There you have it. It still is the train tracks a year on, and that's still not fixed. It's still, they can't cross the train. I always used to find it with contracts when I used to send them. In the end, I never ever tried to send them past this point. Oh, I always forget you can't see my mouse. Past this point here, ever. If I'd got a contract on 48, 47, 46, 45, or 25, I would never try to cross this bit of the train track. A year on, and that still exists, still not been fixed. But yeah, we can see that is definitely all it is. It's as soon as you try to cross that barrier, it doesn't do it. Now, I've never really put two and two together on that exactly, or had proof that that was the case. But yeah, I suppose that is. Right, I've got to get off the screen, or I'm going to cancel the job with my cancel button. Right, let's quickly grab that off the road. Yeah, I mean, this is, we all know it's a fantastic game, so I don't wish this to appear an unbalanced, like I'm having a go at. Oh, it's actually not on the road. That's not too bad then. Right, I'm going to run this across to our farm, pick up the gear. Ooh. And then we're going to send a worker up to the top of the map with this. Yeah, I've also, yeah, no, let's stay on track, Mr. Smith. You're a terror for that. Yeah, the game is a fantastic game. It really is. It's kept me busy for like, yeah, a year as a content creator, and at least a couple of years on FS19. It was, yeah, no, probably as a player, 2-3 years. It was quite early on, actually. I did buy the game quite early on as well in FS19, so yeah, that's not far off actually, I would say. Now, can I tip this? Well, that is a point. I've never tried to do that. Ooh. So that doesn't care about straps. You can put that straight in. Amazing. Right, so we need to grab the proper. Right, we need to also now. Yeah, we need to drop the big bag handle. I am going to continue. I'm just going to send this up to the top, and then I'm going to crack on with chatting to yourselves. Let's drop that down. We're going to need the samurai and the proper contract one. Ooh, why is that looking at? Yeah, the game is a fantastic game. The physics are fantastic. Ooh, what? Why is my... Ah, she got that on the ground. I was going to say that was... you know, yeah, it does help. Obviously, there's the human element as well, which is definitely me. I do understand that. Ah, right, that'll be the top. Let's grab this. Oh, that confused me then. That's a cedar, isn't it? Yeah, Milk That Hen also gave me some proper statistics about the speed that you'd have to go in real life if you were going to use a proper caster like that. So, yeah, if you averaged it, it was like, yeah, the bigger the cast, the slower you need to go to actually do things. Right, so we need to go to the shop. Let's see, I think I've got some fertiliser in the silo. Now, but then do I want to leave a bit down here for the farm? That's a good point. Yeah, let's go and fill what we've got at this shop, and then we're going to send this up to the top to do those 3 contracts. Yeah, did I show you the extra contracts themselves? There's a massive one. One of the fields at the top is big, so although we're going to spend quite a bit on fertiliser, it's still going to be very lucrative for us. We're going to have quite a bit left, so oh, we've got to be careful. Oh, we've got the big bag handler down at the shop, haven't we? So we can use that to drop stuff into the samurai, because yeah, the samurai, as we know, doesn't seem to play. Ah, no, we can do the trick that's... Yeah, we can transfer it into my back, and then we can do that, because it seems to be alright when it does that. You've just taken... No, that was line. No, it is right. So we're going to need quite a bit, actually. We are, that is true, to fill this as well as having that up top. But yeah, this is investing in this model, obviously. Well, I would say another 4 was probably, so another 5 grand to fill this, to eject and then stick in the front. Now, have we fully... I think I did fully... Well, we'll see in a minute, won't we? Let's fill that back first. And then we shall fill the samurai. We'll eject it again once it's into pallets. It's these bags, and this I suppose is really going to prove that. Because if we can eject these as pallets and that goes straight into the samurai, the front, then it does prove really, and this will also prove if it's 2,600 max, or it is indeed. Right, so we want to eject that. Yeah, big bags as default. I've got that now loaded. That'll do, yeah. I don't care which one fills. Wow, I can still reach it from all the way over there. Right, now it can't. Thank goodness for that. Right, let's fill these up, and then I'm going to send this up the top. Now we know that that is the case. I probably did learn that. Again, it's amazing how you get a little bit rusty with whatever you do. Yeah, let me continue with my story before I get, yeah, confused and forget where I got to. I think I'm going to need another one. Let's see. Ah, maybe not. Okay. This is what I didn't really want to do, but I'm not ejecting a full 2.6 tons. Let's hope it wasn't a full one and we can just... Fantastic. That was, yeah, brilliant. Do we need repairing while we're here and filling? Why not? We are this close to it. It would seem to be rather a shame to not make use of this. And both. Let's just fix these, and then I'm going to send these up, and then I'm going to chat. Yeah, while we're grabbing the silage out of our silo and sticking it into the BGA. Right, wow. That was surprising me that the tractor doesn't need fixing. Right, let's send this up to the top then. And then, well, that's true, we're going to need to... No, the lorry can stay there for a little while. Oh, of course, I keep forgetting. You can see the HUD 5, 6 and 12. You can see the contracts on the active contracts. The HUD, I do love that. It's a fantastic thing. Now, it always helps with it being on the road. I never realised this, which is... I always try to play realistic, and actually you would never park on a road like that. Now, it looks like our... we're sitting wasting money. Would you believe it? I absolutely would. Yes. I truly would. Right, okay, well, let's go and take over from Gin Urso. He's taking money for nothing. Oh, and actually, has crashed into a tree as well. Excellent job. Right, well, we're going to run down to the bottom of the map near where the railway lines are. Have we got any spillage or loss, or doesn't seem to be? I do like this truck. Obviously the fertiliser and lime pack come with this, so this is a double fantastic pack, really. The weight of that being so high is actually doing things to the truck. Alright, so let's go straight across there. Let's look to make sure we're not going to crash into anything. Yeah, right, let's try and concentrate. Oh, it is. It's a little bit... Yeah, it's not quite right. Now, I think all of the contracts are over there. So, if we cross the lines, will that be okay with me sending this across the map a little? That's what I want to know. Will that work? Yeah, I definitely had figured out the fact that the lines, yeah, you couldn't cross the lines, but I don't know that I'd figured that one out. Oh, that was lucky. Right, let's have a go. Let's see, now we've crossed that. Does that still affect it or not? Let's send that over to there. Aha, it is. Wow, there you have it. It's definitely that. 100%, it's definitely that. Right, now we want our other tractor, which doesn't appear to be a tractor on the map. It's one of the ones that's a dot. Yeah, I don't know why it does that, but it does. Right, yes, so the game is, it's not right, it isn't, and I think forestry is the worst. Now, Giants have done contracts for the deadwood removal. It's bugged. I've got that proof on, that one is actually on YouTube already. Let's change my tyres. I want to give myself as much grip as possible. Yeah, it literally, obviously, it was about 2 days after release, so I'm not actually having a go. I mean, I didn't expect anything more than that. I'm going to be totally honest. Standards. Let's put our standards on. Alright, smashing that. Hopefully that makes a bit of a difference on grip. Right, so I'm not. This is going to be a bit of a stretch actually for this. Looks, although tractors are very good at. Now, can I free that? No, it's stuck, isn't it? I remember I've got to unleash the silage tomorrow morning, so I've got to hope that this is strong enough and to actually grab this out. It should be. I mean, it'll struggle, but yeah, I've had 100 horsepower tractors that have managed things like this before. It's possible. Yeah, it's not full yet, of course, but I mean, yeah, it is a 16.9 tons, so 13 odd tons between the actual thing itself and the dolly, so it's a heavy sort of thing, even unladen, really. Right, yes, so the game isn't ready, and there's proof. Obviously we always know there's bugs, and the closer you go to a game being released, of course there's more bugs. That's, you know, the reality of whether Giants should release a game, the same as 22 is the most unpolished of all Giants. And don't get me wrong, Giants have done terribly well out of an unfinished product. That I definitely say. I'm not going to run away. I think it's the other way to get to this one. I'm sure. Maybe it's not. Yeah, they have, but it is. I mean, and we can all argue all day long. I mean, you know, it does. Well, it doesn't provide me with a living. It does a lot of content creators. Now, most content creators try to approach this game and I suppose cover over the faults with the game. There are plenty of them, and FS19 I would still to this day say it, well, I suppose it's like the bug we've just sort of proved on camera that it exists, or not a bug, it's a part of the game and it's still not fixed. FS19 was the same. I remember Frithgar going on about dropping a particular mower off, how Giants knew people had reported it to Giants, and for years it remained as it was, where it drops uncomfortably, whereas you can't put it down nicely. Now, it was a reported fault, it was never fixed. Now, again, it's not massive, it's not a game changer, it really isn't. I've got to be careful. It isn't. I'm not being sort of like there are some things that are, and I mean, it's a bit like the glowy signs which are trying to entice people into the forestry, and obviously there's been a lot of effort put into the forestry side of the Platinum expansion, I mean, it is a forestry setup, really. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I was excited about this because I love forestry, and I know that anybody looking at it would think, well, you never do forestry. No, I don't, because it is the white elephant in the room. It's the most bugged of all things. The only thing that makes it anywhere near good is perhaps things like the big bag handler, the big bag winch, where you can grab enough things. Because if you go for if you were going realistic, we always talk about realism. If you were going to sort of try to do a forestry setup, now Mr. CLP did, was it Almacra, and he had one of those massive John Deere cranes that used straps as well as jaws. It was a step in the right direction. It was massive jaws as well. It cost an absolute fortune, but it was a fantastic kit. Now again, this is my point. Now, Giants have done one thing, in my opinion, on the entire thing, and that is the Volvo high lift. It has massive jaws and grips logs really well. Now, that is, in my opinion. Now, if you, it's obviously it's 400 grand. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's not a snippet, so, but it is, nevertheless, you could lease it, and that would be fantastic. So that was, of all of the kit, the harvesters, I didn't use one of the ones with the glowy lines. I didn't need to, because I like forestry, and I knocked the rust off within a few minutes of like being able to rip through, and I shredded the entire, all those trees that I wished to shred, I removed in, it was actually under about 2 hours. That is not bad going. That goes to show, I mean, anybody who knows anything about forestry and actually doing the tree harvesters knows, to actually do that in that time. I think my average had got to be 2 trees a minute. That's moving to the next tree, cutting the next tree, and moving on to the next one, all within 30 seconds ish per log. Now that's not bad. I was quite impressed when I'd worked out how many logs I'd caught and how I did in that time. I thought, that's not bad going in a couple of hours worth of work. Is it? Yeah, it's just not far off. It would be, I'd say, probably 1.5 trees per minute, which I don't think is bad. If you cut 1 a minute, that's not bad. If you did, it was more than that actually. That was 150 something. It was good going anyway, it was, but that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say, my point is the fact that I am not a stranger to forestry is one of my most, when I first started FS19, I couldn't get on with the farming to begin with. It was too complicated. So I did forestry, and that's why I hate resetting. It's a throwback from that time, because if you, obviously, bear in mind, if you've got, I had some of the massive auto load trailers, yeah, because I mean, again, I was new to the game. I wasn't going to, like, I did forestry properly because there was no auto, there is no auto, like, yeah, cutting or anything like that. I mean, obviously you've got the proper forestry equipment, but it was the cranes were a nightmare, and still are. Again, if you look at the Platinum expansion, the only thing, yeah, let's pull up a bit of thing just for a bit of proof on that. Let's go for the Volvo. I've actually ticked this, so it should be in there. No, actually, I think it's under forestry machines, not wheel loaders, even though technically it's a wheel loader. Yeah, I mean, again, these Volvos, I'm not sure about those. I'm not sure about the jaw size. Now, they look not bad either. I think they might be all right as well, the grapple. Oh, wow, I didn't realise they could do that as well. Well, that's not bad. I don't know whether, yeah, I should show you what I used. Again, that is a step in the right direction. It's the jaw size. If you were going to do a proper forestry, now it's all right if you're a farmer and you've got a little tiny, yeah, let me show you what I mean. If you're a farmer and you're not a forestry, you know, like you're not doing a forestry setup, then obviously to have a little crane like, can I show you, were they in forestry? I know they're in this side of forestry, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, the cranes. If you look at the size of the crane heads, actually, now that's not a bad one, the Kessler. If you look at most of them, oh, because I was looking at this and showing it on a video. Yeah. Now these are all right. I'd still prefer the original Tajfun. It's got not got enough of a cable, so it runs out very quickly. So the fact that it's got glowy green things doesn't aid to realism. It actually works against it. So personally, I showed it. Excuse me, too much talking. Yeah, I still prefer the old one because there's no glowy lines and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, if you're aiming for realism, that's obviously a breaker. If you're trying to work on something, look at the head on this. Actually, I'm not sure that one's that bad either. There were some that I did look at that were very tiny. That were the expansion as well. Not those. That's the one I used. I did use the Lizard TF840B pack, and it does cut everything. Well, apart from gnarly trees. Got a minute then. Is it in the forestry first section? Because it is the crane ones. Yeah. Yeah, now the Anderson's one of the smaller, but I'm not sure when that's opened if that would be good. The thing that did it for me was the forestry machines in this. Is it in wheel loaders then? Ah, now that oh, I've not gone far enough. Yeah, this is probably the Malwar, or the Lizard in this. Yeah, again, they're quite small. Again, I don't know what they would be like when they're fully open, but they are very small. And the thing is, you've got to do is here's these ones. Yeah, this is platinum. This is small as well. Yeah, nearly all of these were small. Small-headed. Is it that one that's got one at the back as well? Yeah, that one does look very small. Ah, this is the one that I was looking at. Yeah. Again, small-headed. Probably lifts one log at a time. Now, if you were doing a forester, if you're a farmer, yeah, maybe that's possible. I mean, I do love the blade on the back again, but it's no different to doing it. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay for a glorified tractor with quite a large crane, though, I suppose. So yeah, that's if the crane mechanics were good. Now that's one thing I haven't tested, so I'm not going to call that not without try. Oh wow, it's the configuration that does that. So if you just take it down to a tractor, it's not too bad for 180 horsepower, really, I suppose. But yeah, the crane on that, and yeah, this is the one that you actually got. This is small as well. I immediately saw this was tiny, and I thought, oh, I don't fancy using that. And it was doing all the shaky, rattling and rolling when you move it against stuff, and I thought, oh, that's not been improved. But I say these look good. They look a big size, but yeah, mechanics wise, again, I'd like to do a bit more testing on this. Probably, I might even do a mod review on this for once, but that beast is fantastic. Now that is a step in the right direction. And its jaws didn't do the funny thing where it doesn't grip, it actually gripped them properly. So Giants have worked very hard on that. I've got to give them the due. If all of the machines were like that had come in, then I would say they've cracked it to a degree. There were still a few problems, but if everyone could afford one of those at 400 odd grand, that would be fantastic. And it's because of the physics of its lifter and how heavy it is fantastic for that. It really is. So I was impressed with that of all the machines I tried. Yeah, but I'd have to try the crane mechanic, so I think I'm going to do one before. I'm not going to badmouth Giants on that, definitely not. Right, let's go back up to the top. We do need to set our contracts going, otherwise we're just, yeah, our tractor's going to be doing nothing. Right, let's go in there. Yeah, we'll talk as we go. Yeah, I tried realistically to use the claws, because they, in my opinion, have been the best. Now, I tried the one from Giants. That was the very worst. It really was. And that's not trying to be nasty, but the proof is on YouTube. Yeah, it does the weak jawed thing where you like try to close the jaws and it doesn't, and then you lift it off and then it closes afterwards, meaning that it hasn't got the jaw strength, the physics jaw strength. Right, the train is coming. I see the red light. Yeah, it hadn't got the physics jaw strength to close, and the second you moved it up, it did. It literally closed straight away, proving that you had pressed your gamepad and it was refusing to close the jaws. Now the CSZ pack, now that didn't do any of that. So CSZ, the maker of the CSZ pack, had done a better job of that, but there were collisions in the wrong place, so I couldn't get the jaws closed in the right place. Now, and I tried about 4 sets, none of them, a couple from the CSZ pack, one that Giants had done themselves. The Giants one was the very worst, it really was. That was the, let me show you. No, let's set this going first. 16 is to the left of us. It is, you can see that's the big one as well. So we should set this going, and then we shall continue. I shall put down the bottom. We should keep our eye peeled on the yeah, in fact, actually, do you know something, let's do this ourselves. I'm going to talk and ride. I'm going to go a little bit high. Yeah, we're going to do this because this will be the session, because it's really is, this is me talking, and whether you just listen or not, I mean, this is, I do feel quite that have an opinion on this, because forestry probably is the thing that I do the big, like, yeah, it is true, I've done it the most, even though not as a content creator. I have, it's probably my number one skill. As I said on that video, you get a feel for things when you've done it. You don't need to, you look at where the head is and you just feel, and you go, and you once you've not mastered the actual different, that was the first time I'd used that harvester, and after a couple of minutes of knowing how to do the thing, you get that feel to use the cutter head, and that's just after a long time of actually using it that you sort of get that. So I'm not a stranger to that, and you can sort of see that by how I did do that and how quickly I chopped those trees down on that, to see that I'm not a stranger to forestry, even though that might be a news to a lot of people because I've never done any on this. But yeah, because of that I gave up that, because it was stressful. I mean, cutting gnarly trees, the horrible ones, that's still, and I did a lot of that on Haut Hollow, and that's not improved even in FS22. That's still as bad with a chainsaw, with hidden collisions to wood that goes in the ground, wood that you pick up and it's still got tree branches on it, all that type of stuff. So yeah, that really hasn't been improved at all. That's whether, I don't know whether Giants have addressed some of these issues in the Platinum expansion. From what I saw, I think not, but that's I would like to have a proper go of the cranes before I get a real this is still as bad as it ever was. The actual packs, which pack was it that I was using that Giants had done? It is the one that it's not a mod, so it is one that Giants did themselves. Now that was the very worst. Once I've done this contract, in fact, I'm going to set a worker go, not because it's hard to talk and show you things, and is that done? Yeah, I'm going to leave the tiny strip. I'm going to give myself a bit of a break for once. Right, so the next contract is 12, which is the little one above, and 5 is the big one actually. Yeah, I'll do 12 myself, and then I'm going to take this to 5, 6. Yeah, the other one. 12 is that little one over there, and then we will chat again. We'll sit and watch the work, or I shall sit in the tractor and let the worker do it. It is that little one just there. Yeah, I do feel I've got a voice for this, basically, is what I'm trying to say, because I've done it such a lot, so I do, you feel not an expert. I mean, I've done a lot more farming since FS19 was where I really cut my teeth on forestry, but FS22 I tried it early on as well, just to see if it had been improved. And the same issues. Haut Hollow really taught me that when I was doing some standard gnarly trees, and I thought, oh, these are, in fact, I think I think the physics has been ported over the code exactly as was, chattering trees and things like that. I mean, bales still have a bit of that. I mean, it's physics, it's imperfect, but obviously it is all coding and how you code things, how well you work it. And I think Giants have done not a bad job, truthfully. But again, the prop, I will show you in a second. I'll just get this over to, and then I put my money where my mouth is, because it's I need to sort of show you sort of things, just to give you points of reference. I always find showing people is a much better way than, right, so not far, is it? Oh, actually, I think 5. Is that the one? Past 6, it's got to be. Yeah, it is. It always shows the, it's the one past 6. Let me just see, can I... No, definitely. know what I was going to do. I was going to keep a straight line and then open the shop menu. I'm a terror for being impatient, because I don't like keeping you. The thing is, I suppose my point was, I said this on Stone Valley last session, was the fact that there's got to be workarounds. Well, game mechanics don't. It's no good pretending that everything's okay, which is why I don't do forestry, because I love it, but it's just not there. And then, of course, you've got people, like say, purists who say, oh, I want to see realism, I want to see you using this and that and the other. The trouble is the game isn't ready for it. Let's try standard worker. Yeah, it isn't. Let me show you now, because that's not me anymore. Right, okay, so then if we go to Was it wheel? I'd got a wheel loader to begin with, but then we went on to the maxi pack, the log fork. Yeah, now that one's not capable of doing very much, as in like is that? It's one of the few I didn't try. I did. It was the maxi pack was the one that I used, and it was the log fork. No, it was actually the right one. That was one of the worst. That was right. That was the one that the jaws didn't open at all. It just jammed all the time. So that one was the first I sent back, I think. But obviously this is on YouTube. Then we used the CSZ pack. That had got collisions in the wrong place, but the jaws didn't jam, which was good. I used that on there, the multi-purpose with monoblock teeth, because it hasn't got this. No, it wasn't that one. It was. They look similar to that, but they haven't got the bucket, because I didn't want a bucket. I just wanted claws. In my opinion, these are in FS19. They seem to be better. But the jaw thing has always been a problem. That one's got side jaws, which those little front ones that come back slightly. I find they jam on logs anyway, so I didn't like those. That's not got them, so that was perfect. Only the collisions are wrong. It's like the front jaw still has the collision on the bottom one. It was about a foot away like. Obviously, it doesn't look like a foot on the camera, but it's about a foot away. So that was a no-no. Then I did. Well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what I did. The bottom line is the physics was. You what? What on earth? Do you know? This is another thing as well. The workers are terrible. Really are awful. I did one the other day on this map. Send them across sideways. Let's watch a little bit closer. Yeah, it's that's trying to square, because I always do the northeast bit, and always weird triangle-y bits like that always throw them out as well. They always do. Yeah, you can see the lines. They go with the lines of the crop, which is something that's good to know. They don't work well on weird shapes like this. You better with squares. Right. Anyway, yeah, cross purposes. Yeah, basically, while things are straps, things like the big bag winch, big bag handler, the only way to truthfully do logging on a grand scale, because the straps will make up for the deficiencies of the system if you were to try to go realistic, because you can't pick up enough logs. Now, the CSZ pack would easily have picked up 3 or 4. Let's see, are you going to actually... Oh, no, you are going to go that side. You believe it? Oh no, you're not. You're going to go that side. I was going to say, yeah, that would have picked up at least 3 logs. Now you've got to pick up 2 or 3 logs when you've cut hundreds of logs if you're going to do it without an auto load trailer. And again, I've not done any auto load baling or any auto load. Well, I haven't done any forestry like that. So, but I still wanted to be authentic and to do the best that I possibly could. But there's no way I could with the present claw systems actually pick enough logs up that it would not take me forever to make money at doing it. Obviously, anything, it's all about getting the right set of equipment. It's not necessarily about size, but it's definitely the right set of equipment. So after trying 4 or 5 of the different log forks, and each one having flaws, obviously the Maxi is the Giant's one, and that was the very worst. I've got to say that. I will definitely get that in, and I'd put my money where my mouth was. That was the very worst of them all. The modded ones were better, but the collisions were in the wrong place, and yeah, there were different issues with each one. Let's say it's on, which one was it? Was it 8? Maybe number 8. It was the last one. It's true. 8 on my Silver Run episodes for you to actually see what I'm talking about if you're sort of interested in it. But the bottom line was the only way you could do it was something like the big bag. The other thing is, what I did find, it's plain realistically, what I wanted to do was show off the map, and not for any other reason, not to find fault with the map, but actually to work with Giants, to try and give an authentic thing on the map for people to see, and hopefully to make people feel in love. I love forestry, I do, truthfully. But my point is, are you going to go? Yeah. When I had swapped my wheel loader. I was trying to show off the Volvo, which you actually used to be able to buy on FS19. I think it was 8 or 16 grand. It was really cheap. It was a modded one, and it is that very one, but it's 40 grand now, which is still very reasonable for a wheel loader. Unfortunately, its reach has a couple of problems. It can't go to the floor, so with a claw, that means you couldn't pick up low. You couldn't get your angle right. You need to go at 90 degrees, where your claw goes straight down and you open it to the most to grab your logs. Well, that was incapable of doing that, so that fell. Now that's not down to Giants, that's the design of the wheel loader. So I realised for me to make this happen, it'd got to be a telehandler. It was the only thing that would work. Any wheel loader wouldn't, except for that high lift, wouldn't have the reach to put the logs in the log train sections in the train itself. They were so tall, it was unbelievable. Obviously, the other thing is, with the mechanics of the big bag winch and the big bag handler, if you try to grab wood off a trailer now, it will grab the trailer itself, so it's impossible. So to try to be as authentic as possible, and I do mean as possible, I had to use the big bag handler to push the logs off. So you make it a lot of your work for yourself if you're trying to be realistic, and obviously in real life you wouldn't do that. You'd actually just grab them off. So yeah, the biggest difference is, I think, really is the fact that the big bag handler, in some ways, although it's useful to be able to lift vehicles as well as wood, and it is true, I've used this on my last Stone Valley. In real life, telehandlers and that, you could lift things onto a flatbed, and they're used obviously in industry all the time to lift pallets, machinery with the right weight on your equipment, and I did do that, and I think that's realistic. But the fact is, the change from FS19 to FS22 is the fact that they can lift vehicles, which introduces a new thing that you cannot ever pick anything back off a bed when you drop it down, which we've seen on this as well. Like, I can't ever pick a bag up, except for those big bags where you can say attach. Now then it will let you, because you're not using the mechanics of the straps mechanics, which obviously do. Now again, if it's all to do with coding, if you think about straps on a vehicle, then obviously, what are we doing? Yeah, on a vehicle that probably uses the same physics, which may well be the fact on why, when you use straps, it gets the vehicle as well. I'd not really thought of that until I'm just discussing it with you, but that probably is quite true, and that is it. But whether you could introduce a bit of coding that this can only pick up wood, or this can only pick up, as in a bit like, yeah, you can code it and there's a button that you press that says wood only, bales only. If you could do that, which of course you can, it's coding, so of course you can do that, then obviously that would fix the problem. But it needs the programmers, the makers of the game, to give workarounds. On the map, as I was saying, the size of the things, but a telehandler at full reach could only just drop the logs in. This is what I call my generic goodbye for those sessions where I've done a recording and I didn't realise I was going to split it, and this is I do hate it when I don't say goodbye to you. It seems very rude when you've invited guests in to come and have a look at your content and you don't say goodbye. So this is what I always add as the spliced goodbye. So yeah, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I truly do hope you're going to continue with me on this journey, and I'm going to say goodbye for now.